You guys know those giant books, those giant artist editions that I've showed off on my channel that are just massive and they're expensive? Have you ever wanted one of those, but you think they're a little bit too cost prohibitive? Well, IDW has put out a line of called Artisan editions. They're these smaller trade paperbacks. They're still oversized though, over your average comic book. But their trade paperbacks are more affordable. And this one that I'm going to show off today is the best of EC Comics stories, artist edition. Stay tuned and watch this video until the end. And we're back. I am Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm on the road to 3,000 subscribers and I need your help. Plus, this month I'm showing off 31 days of horror comics. So every day you're getting a new horror comic or horror comic related topic. Subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those. Go to my playlist. I have a playlist of all those videos as well. So you can go back and see any of the ones that you missed. And give the video a thumbs up and comment down below. Those things help the YouTube algorithm know that they should put my channel and videos in front of the eyes of people that don't know my channel exists. So this is the best of EC Stories Artisan Edition. And I love these Artisan editions. They're more affordable from IDW. Great spine. And they're done to mimic the exact contents and everything of the Artisan edition that they're mimicking, but for a more affordable price. You can see it's $39.99 for this, as opposed to the $125, $150 cover price for those artist editions. But these, like I said, they mimic all the same contents, and they are oversized. So just give you a little insight into that. Here's your normal trade paperback that's the same exact trim size as your average comic book. You can see it's still oversized, so you're not missing out on the oversized aspect to the artwork. It's just not true to size of the original art. So this one's great. I missed out on getting the actual full artist edition of EC Comics, if they ever, or best of EC Comics. If they ever reprint that, by all means, I'm going to pick it up. There's no chance that I'm going to miss out on it again. But you get some cool French flaps here that opens up into this full artwork here. Cool title page. And the back end papers are different as well, with a different flap there. And you get all of the signatures, which are, you know, if you're a fan of EC Comics, you know the signatures and how you recognize them on the stories. Everyone had a very distinct signature. There's almost like an art piece into itself with some of these signatures. So this collects 27 of the finest EC stories. So you get a real big collection of different artists in here. Open it up. Here's the table of contents. So you get some Johnny Craig, Reed Crandall, Jack Davis, Graham Ingalls, Roy Krinkle, Bernie Kriegstein, Harvey Kurtzman, Joe Orlando, Alex Toth, Al Williamson, Wally Wood. I think that's it. Yeah. So you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 different artists represented throughout here, which is great. And we're getting war comics, we're getting sci-fi, we're getting horror, and we're getting crime comics, all represented throughout here, which is really, really great. And they're full stories. So some of these artist editions I've talked about too, how you won't get a full story. It'll just be a collection of the original art. This one has full stories, which is amazing because you get some really heavy hitters here. Like when they say best of, they really mean it. Like Foul Play. I have a whole video on that book on my channel. It's the first day of the Horror Halloween 31 days that I'm doing, kicked off with this book. So you got Foul Play in there with the original art. Master Race by Bernie Kriegstein, Corpse of the Imjin by Harvey Kurtzman, Judgment Day by Joe Orlando. Like these are some of the biggest and best known stories. 50 Girls 50 by Al Williamson, Came the Dawn by Wally Wood. And if you're not familiar with artist editions though, they show the original artwork. So you're seeing all the flaws, all the nooks and crannies of how these pieces were originally made before they were scanned in and colored and all those things and touched up. Which I guess probably wasn't the process back then, because we're talking about 1950s comics, but you catch my drift. So in here, we're starting off with Johnny Craig here. You can see kind of the paste ups and things. I guess this is Johnny Craig's real fingerprint. But you're also seeing like a lot of the ephemera on the outsides of the art pieces, because this is like the original art board that we're seeing that was scanned in by Scott Dunbier, who puts these together, which is kind of a cool character trait too of this. And you see like some paste up here. This whole panel is pasted up. So whatever panel that Johnny Craig had originally, he didn't like, so he pasted up over with this new panel. You're seeing all those flaws, warts and all, of this original art in a way that you've not experienced before. Because like with these books that I've shown off on my channel, where they show the black and white line art, which I guess I can Why don't I do that when I get to foul play? I can show you off a little comparison. I'll hold my bookmark there to do a little comparison to show you what the difference is and how the experience is different. You get all these little fingerprints on here too. It's a really famous Johnny Craig story. So that's what I love about it though. Like the whole experience of reading a comic in here with the original art is as if someone had all this original art and just handed it to you on your desk and you're just flipping through it, reading it as you go through. All the lettering is included as well, so you can read this as a total reading experience. Let me get to foul play. It's on page 46. I don't think these pages are numbered, so that's not going to help. I don't think Country Clubbin'. That's Jack Davis. I can tell that artwork. So it must be after this one. Yeah, all right. So here's foul play. Now let's compare it to the black and white line art in the Fantagraphics edition. So this is a cleaned up artwork, black and white by Fantagraphics. And this is the original art page. So you can see like you have like all the ephemera on the top here. And you can see the pasted over title up there. I'm trying to see if there's any differences we can notice here. Some of the original artwork. Anything that was cleaned up by Jack Davis. You do see the original, where's this page right here? Okay, right here. Like the zipatone that Jack Davis used on these uniforms. You can see those put in there really well. They get kind of, not blurred out, but you can see them less prominently on the cleaned up artwork. I'm trying to see, so on this next page, yeah, it's not super noticeable. I'm trying to notice differences in the art versus the final page. Jack Davis is a pretty clean artist, it looks like. You can see kind of a whited out right there. It's cleaned up right there on the tail of that word balloon. Trying to see if there's any more paste ups or anything like that you might notice. Here's the famous page. Man, this was not a good example because Jack Davis nailed this whole issue, it looks like. But this is I'm just going to close that. This is a famous panel that these two panels were used in the Senate hearings when Frederick Wortham was trying to advocate that comics were warping kids' brains and turning them into juvenile delinquents or whatever. These two panels were described in great detail there. There's more Jack Davis artwork. I do want to show off some of the different artists, though. Master Race. Let's do that one. That's a really great story by Bernie Kriegstein. I do have all these reprinted in some format in black and white. So if I notice anything different, I can pull those books off the shelf and see. This is a really famous story that is a must read for anyone that wants to try out EC Comics. Has a really great twist ending, which all of this EC stories had twist endings to them, but this twist in particular is really, really great. Really great zipatone used in the back there and back here too. They're such clean artists, it's hard to notice. All right, here's a Harvey Kurtzman piece, it looks like. And you can see all the whiteout put on here, which I can find. Let me see here. So I bet you this story is in Corpse of the Imjin, the hardcover I have here. Airburst. No? It's not in here? Nope. Okay. I'm sure one of these Kurtzman stories are. I know Corpse of the Imjin is, obviously. All right, here we go. This might be a good comparison. So Harvey Kurtzman's one of my favorite cartoonists just in period in the history of comics. His influence and things on the history of comics just cannot be understated enough. Okay, so here's a good example on the art comparisons here. Hopefully my lighting is showing this off really well. Let me get my light in here. All right, so you can see here, there's some whiteout here. Maybe he drew some rocks and things that he didn't like, because on the cleanup artwork, it's just completely whited out. You can't even notice anything different there. And then, let's see if I notice anything else. You do see some of the pencil lines and stuff right there that aren't noticeable here. I love Kurtzman's figures, though, how they always have like an arch to them. The way he draws his figures gives it a real cartoony and signature style to it. There's some white out there. Let's see what that panel looks like. Yeah, so you kind of see the comparison there. And the pages are yellow too. I'm assuming that's because a lot of the materials and media they used back then weren't archival in nature. And also it could be just down to the people that originally owned these pieces might not have preserved them in a good way, or might have had them hanging up on the wall with the sun shining on it before Scott Denbier was able to grab it and scan it in. This is Judgment Day. This is one of the most famous stories by EC, done by Joe Orlando, who is a super underrated artist. Like, his tech and sci-fi is just absolutely brilliant. But this is a really good story based on race that really showed prejudice versus against minorities and things that was super important. Here's the one Alex Toth story in here. Alex Toth didn't do a lot of EC comics, unfortunately. I wish he had more. But you see an airplane fight in here, which Alex Toth was just famous for, and you can't go wrong with Alex Toth original art. You can see it's done in Frontline Combat right there. Stamped on the bottom of the art piece. His line work was just absolutely amazing. This is Sound of Thunder. This is a Ray Bradbury story. And Al Williamson's doing the artwork on this. Oh, this looks like it's got a lot of effects and stuff done onto it. Looks like maybe some paste ups that didn't age really well. I have this also in a different version. Sound of Thunder. Let me compare this one, because it looks like a good one to show off the differences. It's got to be in here, right? Sound of Thunder 168. Yeah, so look at that. Let me make sure they're both in the shot here. So you can see, like, just how he's able to... So it looks like a technique... This is like a dome right here. He's trying to, like, make it look like it's faded, like you're looking through the glass. And you can see that how he was able to do that. I don't know if that's, like, he pasted up over that or what. How he achieved that. You can see some of the mark making here, too, with the whiteout. And how it ended on the final piece. There is some... It looks like on this panel... There's some painting technique in the back that didn't show up here. I don't know if that's because that's in the final colored piece. You'd see that, and this is done in black and white, and that's why it's whited out there. I'd have to look at the colored version to see. Great Dinosaurs by Al. He's such an amazing artist. So right there, you can see some whiteout technique to do like the splashing water right there, and how it looks on the final piece when it's whited out. Not whited out, I'm sorry. When it's done in black and white. It looks like all the coloring on here, too. This didn't age the best, whatever medium he's... Or maybe he's painting there, and that's why that looks like that. I'd have to see the final colored piece to really tell. Al Williamson's a great artist. All these EC artists are great, right? Like, look at these pieces by Al Williamson. There's a reason why George Lucas tapped him to do the comic adaptations of Star Wars, for sure. Like, these are just amazing. 50 Girls 50, this is his famous story that Al Williamson did. Absolutely incredible artwork. I will say there's a book coming out for Fantagraphics of Al Williamson's, all of his Atlas work for Marvel, before it was called Atlas, and I can't wait to get that. Like, the title lettering is great, too. I don't know who did the title lettering on that one, but this is by Roy Crinkle and Al Williamson. Roy Crinkle and Al Williamson and Frank Frazetta were all working in the same studio together, so they'd often pitch in and help each other out with their comics. Came to Dawn, this is Wally Wood. And Wally Wood had an amazing style where, like, his figures, like, it's just great cartooning. Like, his figures never look static. at all. Like, they almost had like a Jack Davis nature to the way that his figures would stand and things. Not quite the cartoony nature of Jack Davis, but then his women would always look beautiful, obviously. And then his like tech and things, whenever he do sci-fi stories, were amazing. There's probably a sci-fi Wally Wood story in here I can show off. Yeah, Mars is Heaven right here. Like, I think Wally Wood might be the only second to Jack Kirby when it came to like sci-fi tech in comics. I guess there's not the greatest examples there on those pages. My World. Here we go. There's some sci-fi tech in the spaceship here by Wally Wood. Absolutely amazing sci-fi comics. So yeah, this is a great artisan edition. Try out these artisan editions are great and affordable ways to have these artist editions. If you're like an artist yourself, or you're just wanting to see this original art in its true form, IDW's put out a lot of these artisan editions. It seems like they're almost on a path that every of the artist editions are going to put one of these out. I hope that's the case, because I think these are a great way to preserve comic book history. Yeah, so that's it. Let me know down below. Comment down below with your favorite EC comics, your favorite EC artists, or whatever you want to talk about with this. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I am on the path to 3,000 subscribers. I want to get there by the end of the year, and I need your help. And then also, stay tuned. I'm having 31 days of horror comics. You don't want to miss out on that. But also, one last thing. Keep talking comics.